Look, I literally just got back from Rorick Mazda. I've been gone all day, Coons Market, Banksville Road. Did about 40 videos that you're going to see over the next month, Facebook and YouTube. But I put some of this stuff together back at the home base in McNaca, and then we're going to have these two gentlemen debate the attempt to replace the Affordable Care Act, which I think after today we all realized it was a little bit more affordable than we first thought. This is a young man I want to introduce who's a professor at Wisconsin, who I actually put into my Final Four today, not knowing that he would be here tonight. I guess it's magic, ladies and gentlemen. His name, of course, is Asa Equals. He is learning to become just that, a professor at that marvelous school. Did you bring any cheese with you all from Wisconsin?
No, not over the break, I think.
Let me shake your hand. University of Pittsburgh, former track athlete, good kid all the way around, Beaver High School, and of course our go-to guy when it is everything is Washington business. I love Dave Pasquale. He's here tonight as well too. So, legislation to repeal major portions of Obamacare would reduce the federal deficits by $150 billion over 10 years. Now, according to the revised estimates, the original bill would have lowered the deficits by $337 billion. Republican caucus, there's going to be a free-for-all now. Paul Ryan is hanging on for dear life to keep control of the House. And the president, this could just implode in his face and damage and tarnish his administration. It's not good for those two guys, or really the government right now that has been trying and talking how they had the 216 votes. But today, no vote, and tomorrow, an all-conference meeting, they're scrambling.
Absolutely, they got 26, last counted at any rate, we got 26 senators, I believe, that already said they're going to vote no if they had to vote tonight. Of course, they postponed that now until at least tomorrow sometime.
Hey, have you ever met Barry Alvarez? I just thought I'd ask you that real quick. Hey, he, of course, longtime coach of Wisconsin. It's great to have you here as a young person. Yeah. Obviously, down the road, family, all of the things that go with it. Just your thoughts about where we are with healthcare and this news today.
Well, I haven't heard about the news that just came out today. My general opinions about the Affordable Care Act, when I got my first job, noticing that, my taxes are getting a little bit higher because, I'm having to pay into a more socialist healthcare system. During the campaigns and everything, even as a young person that, maybe paying a little bit more in taxes, I'm thinking, maybe getting rid of the Affordable Care Act is, maybe a good thing. But, it's a real shame that it really turns out the Republicans didn't have a plan coming into this. They wanted the Affordable Care Act to, implode. They wanted it to, go away, and they never really had any sort of plan to go with it, unfortunately.
Here's the thing that I've learned from Dave Pasquale. Preparation, 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 prepare. And that's all I've been doing for the last 10 years, a lot of it because of his mentoring. Do you think that maybe Donald Trump relied on his ability to think on his feet, thought that the gift of gab would get this done, and everyone said one thing, but it really came down to dissecting it, and really where preparation should have come into play, they just weren't prepared.
Well, it was the art of the deal as far as he was concerned. He's been saying all along that he's a deal maker, and he certainly is. And before it's all over with, he'll get it done. He'll get it done. He'll do some arm pushing, and they probably will go to a vote tomorrow. When they go to a vote, they'll know they're going to have this thing going. So I look forward to that tomorrow, and I think it probably will pass.
Listen, not everyone can run as he ran with a pair of Nike sneakers, but we all want our kids to get a college education. Just that's something that we all really strive for. Let's talk about public education for just a minute, and education while you're here, because that's another big thing with the budget coming out. Slicing and dicing, and a lot of, well, that's going to suffer.
Yeah.
Your thoughts about where we are with education in the country and why we need to do everything that we can do to get kids into school, and whether it's a great state school, a community college, or if they're blessed enough to go to a great university, Pitt, or to do what you're doing now in Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think education is, it's one of the backbones for just becoming a better person in general. You don't have an education, or you don't have that sort of community that you receive in either by going to high school or by going to any sort of college or university, community college or state school, public university, or private university, whatever it is. Education is going to bring out the best in you. That being said, I think education should be a right for all Americans, but unfortunately the problem with American education systems, and I say it's a problem, but American universities, they are the best in the world, and there's a reason why they're so expensive, but there needs to be a more affordable option for kids to be able to have access to that educational right.
I'm a huge fan of the University of Pittsburgh, much more than their athletics. Their school of medicine, their school of dentistry, just what they're doing, the research, that community of Oakland. What was that experience like?
University of Pittsburgh was amazing. I loved it so much. I'm on spring break right now, and just about every day I'm going back to school, more or less. I'm just heading up into Oakland, and just the atmosphere of being at the University of Pittsburgh. Best time of my life for sure.
Mission at Wisconsin, then we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit, and I'll make this all work out. But explain to me what you're doing right now, and obviously your next goal, which we talked about, but the process you're going through.
Yeah, so right now I'm a graduate student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison studying Portuguese literature. I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh with a degree in Hispanic languages and literatures, so I just sort of I directed my education more toward Portuguese literature instead. So in the future with that, either want to do research on impacts of sports governing bodies on Latin American nations, be it social or economic well-being of Latin American nations. Joining the Air Force, joining the military as an officer, and utilizing my foreign language abilities that way, or get a job in the government teaching Portuguese.
I just kind of looked over to Dave and thought, man, I don't know if I can handle that. That's a big plate. That's a lot of stuff. The DNA, of course, comes from your mom and dad, though, all these brain cells. And here's what's happening. It gets back to manufacturing base and why all of this healthcare stuff and education. I think it could be solved so easily if we could just get people back to work. We growing up, I wasn't fortunate. I went to broadcasting school, but I know a lot of guys and gals who had to get a job somewhere in the summer to pay for their books and, stay at school and get that tuition taken care of. They went to work in the local mill. And right around here, Townsend, which turned into Coal Fan and Hotel Steel, and so many Coppel Steel, J&L, Bethlehem, American Bridge, my father's old company, St. Joe's Zinc, U.S. Steel. We're missing something, and what's happening to these young kids because they don't have that option or that job. And thank God for places like the Brighton Hot Dog Shop where they can actually come and get a job and make a livable wage, at least to put a dent into it, or maybe even work a little extra overtime to pay for the thing. And you got your Penn State branch campus here, you got your community college, but let's face it, they're floating these loans that they're never paying off. And they're going deeper and deeper into debt. And many of these kids, Dave, because there's no jobs for them to go to, are getting out after 4 years with a $100,000 debt, and they haven't even got a car or a house yet. So what do we do?
From a manufacturing standpoint, it's all about regulations, corporate regulations, and taxes that has caused so many of our manufacturing facilities to either close down or at least shutter those plants and move them out of state and out of the country. That, I think, with the Obama or the Trump administration probably will be eased somewhat, because I think obviously one of the campaign promises was to reduce corporate taxes. That'll help not only maintain some of the manufacturing that's left here, but it also may help to generate some new legislation or some new manufacturing in this country as well. Talking about the one thing that I was interested in when Asa was talking is that of the people that are being affected by the American Health Care Act, 7% of those affected, as 14 million people, are students. That's something that has to be looked at, revised, and taken care of before this thing's going to pass. That's one of the components. The other is children. I guess they're being affected by American health care, and also the disabled are being impacted by this thing. That all has to be taken care of too. And I think from a cost standpoint, what's happened to healthcare costs in this country is an abomination. I talked to some people today about, a doctor, as a matter of fact, today about what his thoughts were on the Affordable Health Care Act and healthcare in particular. And the doctors are very vigorously.
Your son's
opposed.
a doctor.
Yes, he is. They're very vigorously opposed to the Affordable Health Care Act and also to the American Health Care Act. Reason being that the insurance companies just have taken a position where they dominate what's going to happen in healthcare. For instance, if a doctor issues a bill for a surgical procedure in the amount of $5,000 or $10,000, the insurance companies look at that bill and say, "We'll give you $2,000," and you have no recourse. The only industry in this country that I'm aware of that does not dictate their own pricing. Now, as a result of that, as a result of the insurance companies' heavy-handedness when it comes to this kind of action, the medical profession, of course, if they want to get $5,000 out of a surgical procedure or what have you, they're going to bill $10,000. They want 10, they're going to bill 20. And the insurance companies are going to look at that and say, okay, you billed 20, we'll give you 10. So they sit right where they wanted to be in the first place. But what happens there is that it's one of the major reasons why healthcare costs have gone up to where they are now. Mm-hmm. You know, the particular procedure, if I may, Rob, a particular procedure where a person went in to get a test procedure for pain relief. It was a test procedure, not a permanent procedure. They did the test did not work. She was billed in excess of $70,000. The procedure wasn't an operation, it was a procedure. It took about 15 minutes to complete. And the billing for that, as I said, was in excess of $70,000.
We're going to continue to debate this whole healthcare issue. I'm kind of the voice of reason. I do like what I see as far as insurance companies are concerned in the region, and I still think it's the best card you can have in your wallet or purse when it comes to time to getting medical care. But all of this can be solved if we build that tax base, that manufacturing base, and that middle class. If you go back to when Dave and I were growing up, and even your parents, people were working, manufacturing was thriving. There wasn't such a separate, I guess, dividing line, if you will, between the patient and those who were taking care of them. It's all about putting people back to work, and thus a lot of the pieces of this puzzle in healthcare and a lot of things, including good public education, which is still the best ticket in town, I believe can be solved. And hopefully this administration will get through this, move forward, and we'll start to put this puzzle together, because America can be and will be great again if that happens. In the meantime, stay with us. We're at the Brighton Hot Dog Shop. Going to get a little refresher here with a coffee and get right to it. It's March Madness. It starts tonight as far as the Sweet 16, and we'll break it all down next. Stick with us.